not afraid. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Sam Spooks, and this is Dead Vibes Only. Tonight we will be going over the very basic overview of tarot. I will be going into a brief history and just a very basic rundown of the symbols in tarot, but eventually I will be making a video on each and every card in the deck, so stay tuned for that. Most likely when you think of tarot, you immediately think of the Rider-Waite tarot deck, but did you know that it was not originally used for divination? In fact, it was an Italian card game from the 1400s called Tarocchi. Tarocchi was a specific deck that added cards to the modern card game that we still have today. Those additions were called trifoni, or shrine cards. From what I can gather from my research, there are still many versions of the Tarocchi that are still played today, and I in fact have my own deck right here. Supposedly these are limited edition cards. What does it say? Not quite 3,000 copies, we got 2,999 copies. This is 2,191. I got these thinking that this book would give me some idea of how to divine with these, but no, it's just a very basic rundown. But I've never played with these, I've never divined with these. These are still in the original order that they came in because I don't want to mess them up. I have no idea how to read them. They are in Italian. So if you know anything about these, let me know because I can't do anything with them. Earlier in the video I talked about tarot cards not originally being used for divination. What is divination? Divination is the communication with spirit to acquire knowledge. This can be God, past loved ones, spirit guides, angels, deities, demons, and anything in between. Tarot cards are just one of many tools that are used for divination. Tarot cards can be used for insight on the future, the present, and the past. Sometimes these latter two get forgotten. I'm not quite sure why. One of the more basic spreads that you will see commonly used is the 3-card spread. Some of the types of readings that are done with this are past, present, future, mind, body, spirit, and situation, action, and outcome. It's really up to the reader and whoever is being read for what those 3 cards mean, whether it is past, present, future reading, mind, body, spirit, and the 3-card spread can be so many different things. It really is up to the situation. Another commonly used spread is the Celtic Cross, which is a 10-card reading which goes way more in depth than the 3-card reading does. Your intention and the type of reading will affect the symbology in the cards and what they mean for each reading. Divination did not become the main use of tarot until it reached France in the 1700s, and that is where it became popularized as a divination tool. In 1909, Arthur Edward Waite commissioned Pamela Colman Smith to create the deck that we now know as Rider-Waite. This deck is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, tarot deck ever created. Many decks are based off of this deck in some way or another. Most decks will have 78 cards, just like the Rider-Waite deck does, and each of these cards will have their own unique meaning and interpretation. There was a lot of controversy for a long time because Pamela Colman Smith's name is not on the box of most of these decks that are being sold, even though she was the one who did all of the art. There was a lot of talk about Waite having detailed designs, and that's why most of the credit went to him, but now you will see a few decks that are either called Waite Smith or Rider-Waite Smith. Most decks that you purchase will come with a guidebook that will tell you different interpretations, what they mean when they're upside down, keywords, that kind of thing for the most part. There is some symbology that is not in the books that would be useful for you to know, and that is why I am here. So the traditional Rider-Waite deck has 78 cards. This is broken up into two parts. We have the Major Arcana, which has 22 cards, and we have the Minor Arcana, which has 56 cards, making a grand total of 78 cards in the deck. The Minor Arcana is similar to the playing cards that we know today. We have a King, Queen, Knight, Page, followed by 10 numbered cards. The Major Arcana represents the larger stages of our lives and follows the Fool's journey. Other important symbols include colors, numbers, flowers, the landscape, structures, and lots of other things that I will go into more detail on in later videos. So there are very many different types of decks. I have 7 different decks myself, and 1 deck of Oracle cards, which is a supplement to the tarot cards, but you can also use them on their own. I won't be talking about Oracle cards or any other deck in this series other than the Rider-Waite deck. This series will focus on the Rider-Waite deck because it has a lot of the symbology that many other decks pull from, and you'll have at least a basic idea of what other decks are trying to say. So what questions do you have about tarot? Is there more on the history you want to know? Is there more on the symbology, different types of spreads? What types of decks are good for what? Let me know down in the comments below. I hope to see you for the rest of this series. It's gonna be a long one, but it's gonna be a good one, so I hope to see you there. So thank you so much for watching. Keep a light on if you need to, but remember, be not afraid. See you in the next one.